Hello. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Hi. I don't think you guys can see me, right? Just type something in the comment that I know. All right. Okay. So hi guys. My name is Mohammed Sheikh. Sorry, I'm new to this Facebook Live. So for some reason, if you can't hear or if you can't see me, that's okay. We can connect back later. First of all, a big thank you and a shout out to Monisha for organizing this event. So, a little bit more about me and myself. Not to bore you too much, my name is Mohammed Sheikh. I'm a customer acquisition specialist. I'm working for international clients. Uh, Please to start. Okay, Monisha, I've already started my. Okay, guys, guys, can you hear me? Just type like clear the comment box so that I know that you can hear me. Um, the audio was good. Okay. Oh, okay. Thanks, Shakti Balan. Thank you so much for confirming that. All right, guys. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for showing up. And second thing, I would like to thank the TNDM community and Miss Monisha for organizing this event. I'm actually new to this Facebook Live event. I do trainings on the stage, but this is completely new for me. I don't know, for some reason I'm using a double screen, so I cannot, my camera is not on view, so I need to restart it. But I want to do that, but it's okay as long as we convey the message here. So, a short introduction about me. My name is Mohammed Sheikh. I've been in this industry of sales and marketing for the last 15 years, with 6+ years in digital marketing. I've been around to Middle East and North Africa. I've been in Abu Dhabi for 6 years, a couple of years in Saudi, and a couple of years in Qatar. So finally, nothing worked out. So I came back to India in 2014 and started my, digital marketing journey. I worked with many multinational clients around the globe. I'm a specialist in customer acquisition, helping businesses generate leads. Happily married, father of two. That's it about me. So, without any further delay, let's get into the topic. So, in the meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can always post in the comment box. I would try to keep all the questions at the end so that we can complete the module, and and I will take all your questions. And definitely, I'll leave you with no questions unanswered. Okay. So I'm a paid master, paid traffic mastery. I actually help clients generate leads. Thank you, Shakti. So what I do is I help clients generate leads. That's what I said in the beginning. So what I'm specialist in paid traffic, especially with Google Ads and Facebook Ads. But in recent a couple of years, most of my client has given an opportunity. to work on Facebook ads only. So I'm specifically good at Facebook ads. I won't say that I'm an expert, but I'm still I can do some, something which the client is looking for. So before we get into that, I would like to tell you a little bit overview of digital marketing, the myth that surround digital marketing. So people think, okay, digital marketing is all about the complete module of digital marketing. I know that you guys are aware of the complete module of digital marketing from SEO to SEM, social media marketing. But I was wrong. In the initial stages, I was trying to focus on the complete digital marketing, and eventually I failed. I reached nowhere. And then I started to focus on one area. Then I figured out like what other areas I need to know. So when it comes to Facebook marketing, the first thing that I need to know is what I'm going to share right now. That's what made me a great success. So first, let's understand like what and why is paid traffic. So what is a paid traffic? Paid traffic, in other words, you are taking the right message to the right audience. That's very as simple as that. And you as a marketer, we call ourselves as a media buyer, paid acquisition specialist, media buyer, Facebook ad specialist, all the same. But in general, the marketing term, they call us a media buyer. Our job is to connect the consumer to the brand that may require the service that interests to their life. It's not like, okay, I have a product, I'm going to sell it. A business owner reach out to you and ask you, okay, so I have a product. Can you sell this for me? You directly don't jump in and say, yeah, I can do that. But as a media buyer, it's your job to connect the consumer to a brand, which is the business owner or whoever who wants to sell the product or service, and that service should be the interest to your consumers. So first, you need to believe the product. You need to tell them, okay, I'm convinced with the product, so I'll go ahead and promote this product. And as a marketer, it's your job to connect the brand and the consumer. So most probably people ask me, okay, ads are almost dead. But before that, you need to understand the type of traffic what you're trying to bring in. Now we all know that there are two types of traffic. One is organic and paid. So organic traffic is more or like a rain. So you cannot expect when the rain is going to come, and you have no control. You cannot stop someone else to shut the traffic. Let's say, for example, today Google rolled out an algorithm update, and you can't expect your page to rank on first place. It doesn't mean that SEO is dead. SEO is still on, but when it comes to paid traffic, you have a lot more control. And in organic traffic, you're not sure when the traffic will come and how consistently, because today you might be ranked on the first page of Google. Tomorrow there is no doubt or no assurance that you will be on the first page of Google. Someone might do a better job than you. Someone might find some better keywords. There are like more than like 100,000 points that Google will consider when it comes to ranking your website. But in terms of paid traffic, it's like a water hose. Like, you want to turn it on, you turn it off whenever you want. If you need traffic, you turn it on. If you don't want, you shut it down, and you have to pay eventually. But if you know how to find the break even point, what do you mean by that? If you know exactly where your customer on the value journey, that's what we're going to talk in the upcoming upcoming topic. You will make a break even point, and you have complete control. You can turn it off, turn it on anytime you want. So that's just all about like what and why is paid traffic. So there's a lot more I can dig deep into just in terms of paid traffic. Most people say paid traffic is dead. It depends on the type of business. So if you're in a type of business where you completely take it online, then paid traffic is now a good source for you to start. My client is into One of my client is into HR business. Is a tech consulting firm. So what he does is he want to keep everything remote. People are still working remote. So I help the candidates to fill out and walk them through the interview process. That's what I currently work with one of my client. So that is all about what and why is paid traffic. Next thing we want to understand, like, who we are as a marketer. So we are obviously a marketers in first place. We are a psychologist. We understand the consumer's mindset. We are researchers. We do research before we land. We launch, a campaign. We are human connecting to other human. We understand the empathy of our consumers. We are better communicators. So in general, we are like taking the message to your consumer, and at the same time you go ahead and understand the pain points and challenges of your customer. So now coming back, so okay, Mohammed, I know what you're talking about. This is something general. Everybody can talk about this. You are giving some gyan. Okay, now we'll start talking a little bit about the consumer value journey. What's the consumer value journey? So consumer value journey is a role of marketing to move a prospect and consumers seamlessly and subtly through each stage of the value journey. Actually, there are 8 stages in the customer value journey, and your role as a marketer is to uh, take them through the process. We call it like funnels, or a campaign, or what do you want the action to be taken by the consumers and all those things. But as a marketer, your responsibility is to move your prospect from stage by stage without even knowing that they're moving from stage by stage. Because end of the day, you're going to you will know like where your customers are in. So, what are the 8 different stages? The first thing, as usual, it's self-explanatory, is awareness. Awareness, how they came to know about you, like through which medium they came to know about you, how you're generating, how you're planning to generate the awareness. Facebook has a lot of objectives. So, one among the objectives is like brand awareness and reach. So, in this case, what you can do is you can create an awareness campaign. If you're completely new, if you don't know what exactly is your brand is all about, how exactly you want to promote your brand. So let's say, for example, I'm into a business where nobody knows about my business. I'm completely starting new. So the first thing is you need to set up an awareness campaign, subject to if the person, if your brand has a little bit knowledge of, like, let's say, for example, I know a little bit. If I want to buy a mobile phone, I already know a little bit idea on how the mobile phone works. I don't really need to educate the customer again. All I need to do is build a brand awareness. Okay, I need a mobile phone, and this is like my brand. Go and check it out. Okay, the first stage, they came to know about your brand. You run a brand awareness campaign. And the second thing is that now they know your brand. They read your blog post. They did some engagement on social media. They watched a demo video, trailer video, or something. Now they know about your brand. The next thing what you need to do is you need to engage with those audience, reply back, social listening, or go to their social media accounts, or maybe they'll invite them to you know follow up. It's what we call in Facebook as retargeting. So you engage with them. Now you talk to them, and the next thing is you create a simple tripwire. What we call it, tripwire. In other words, we call it subscribe, where we get the permission to follow up in exchange for an email address. So at this stage, what you do is you collect their email address for you to follow up. You engage, right? You engage in a broad audience. You just openly engaging with everybody. Now you need to go ahead and get the permission. Okay, I'm good to go to follow up with you. Okay, good. So now you give something in exchange, like a lead magnet, or a free trial, or there might be n number of stages when it comes to lead magnet. So you collect their email address, you nurture them by sending a follow-up emails and other things, and you educate about your product and services. Okay, now what? So the next stage is you need to get to understand whether the customer is really interested or not, and that's what the next stage is called, convert. You get to have the customer buy something for a minimal product, like affordable product, a small kind of product, where you can have a micro commitment that, okay, we understand that you have paid it, and you are ready to be on our funnel. So you give them something, a small product, you create a small product and micro product and give them at a nominal price. Now you know, like, okay, the customer is ready to buy, he is the buyer that we're looking for. So the excite stage is nothing but you give, let's suppose you create a product for 199 rupees or 599 rupees, and that should have a 10x value. And the customer should feel like, oh man, this is like a great offer. I got it. So they started at that stage. They know they should be like pumped up with the value what they've got. Okay, this should be there are some courses where you might have bought and you felt like, okay, this is like a $1 million value where I got it for like very nominal price, so I should go about with this company. Now you build that authority and credibility, and then is your ascent stage. Here what you can do is you can upsell your offer, you can downsell your offer, you give them like an extended trial or whatever it is. So this is where you will clearly understand whether the customer is a frequent buyer, is ready to pull out his credit card and pay the money. So then they became an advocate. What do you mean by advocate? You ask for testimonial, like, okay, a purchase is made, then you send a mail asking, okay, you bought this product from us. What do you feel? Would you be interested in giving us a testimonial? So definitely, if you have done the exact stage correct, and you have taken through the ascent stage perfectly, then definitely they are more than happy to give you a testimonial. So what once the testimonials come, now they become your brand advocates. So now what they do, they go and refer your product to your customer. So now they have become like your sales and marketing guys who can permanently promote your product, and you know and talk more about your product. They take a selfie, some post it on Instagram. They use your software. They share you the experience. They write a review. Everything becomes so. Your responsibility as a marketer is to take your customer through this journey, and you need to understand first when you started doing your research. You need to first start which stage your customer is in. Then you know, okay, what is that you need to give. Let's suppose your customer is in the convert stage. He bought something, and later later, like, okay, I have bought something. I bought a micro commitment. So now what else I can give to make them as a frequent buyer? But believe me, trust me, at the end of the day, you are still working, whether it's B2B or B2C, you're still working with a human to human. So there is not a robot on the other side who's just pulling up the credit card and paying. So make sure you give excess value to your customer. So every campaign, so let's suppose you're setting up a campaign. Every campaign says three step out of this like customer value journey. Let's suppose you are on a brand new customer. You need to take your customer. You make aware of your customer. I mean, aware of your product, engage with them, and immediately push them to subscribe to your mailing list so that you can follow up and take them to the other process, whatever it is. So this is how the process of customer journey. There are only two main important factors that require. One is the content and the traffic source. The content is what kind of a content you're going to share. So based on so if it's an awareness, you might be giving a blog post to read, or a video to watch, or a software trial or something. And engage is like discussing with them about what do you like about the product, what you don't like. Immediately give them a lead magnet. If you've done your customer avatar correct, you can very well go ahead and give a lead magnet in this stage. And also you can add the fourth stage in the first four process. So you can immediately give a small product to go ahead and convert them to an customer. So the fourth one is you need to understand the type of traffic. What kind of a traffic is it? So when it comes to the first four stages, it's cold. The customer never knew about your product. So awareness, engage, subscribe, and convert also comes under the cold traffic. The warm traffic is actually convert to excite. Now the customer know more about you. So what you can do is go ahead and click on and walk them through the convert and excite process, which is give them more value and excite them for them to be a frequent buyer. The hot customers is like you can upsell them. Now they know you can provide value, so you can go ahead and uh, add more and more value, upsell them, make them a brand advocate, like getting testimonials and reviews, and make them promote your product. So that's about the customer value journey. Now when you're creating content, you should know like where your which you know where is your customer value. I mean, where is your customer in the customer value journey, and based on that you can create content. So the content is actually the vehicle, and the traffic source is actually the road which you are taking your customer through. So when it comes to customer avatar is nothing but your ideal customer whom they want to be. And why customer avatar? It clearly states your intent and interest. So it helps you in what kind of a product you can create. It helps you write a winning ad, and it helps you targeting, and you create a type of content for your audience. And definitely the customer service and SEO will come into part after they become your customer. So why you need them? In olden days, when I first started, they asked me like, okay, I asked to the group of people like, who would be your ideal customer? And they said like, my ideal customer is women above 45. I was like, no, no, dude, you need to have more information about your customer. Otherwise, it will be very hard for you to target, and you will be burning a lot of money. So, what asked them is these five questions. So, do you know your customer demographic? What is their goals and values? What's the challenges and pain point? What are the source of information and objection and rules? So demographics basically comes under what's the age, gender, marital status, the number of children they do, and where do they currently live. And when it comes to goals and values are nothing like what do they want to achieve, where are they right now, and what do they want to achieve, and what do they value the most. When it comes to their their goals, that's they value a certain thing which is related to their goals. So then the next thing is like challenges and pain points. This is very, very important. Most people don't do this. So challenges and pain points are very important. Before you don't know what is the challenges they are facing and how you can solve the problem. So that will be it will be a critical process in the complete value journey, because you don't know what is your customer is all about. When I first bought a SIM card out there in Airtel, they gave me a form like CAF. So when I read that, it CAF nothing but the customer application form, which gives you complete information of what you do, where you live, but it doesn't have more information like what I'm showing right here. But at least it would have the age, gender, marital status, no number of children. By the way, location will be there, and they don't ask for goals, source, objection role, nothing like that. But the basic information will be there, right? So eventually, we don't know what they're going to do with that, but eventually, as a marketer, you need to know, you need to have all this information, without which you cannot move forward in your customer value journey process. So the challenges and pain point. Let's suppose, okay, how do I find the challenges and pain point? You can do a research. Like I said before, we marketers are a researcher. So we do go ahead and research online. Online, we have all the sources available. You do one-on-one discussion with someone you think would be the right fit. And the next thing is, okay, now, okay, if you have a problem like this, so if I provide a solution, would you be interested in taking up that offer? And 90% of the people will say yes. So go ahead and fill out as many avatars as you can. Just don't not one, as many avatars as you can, so that you have a list of like customers that you can use them for targeting option. Then the source of information. Where do they go when they have a problem? what books they read, what magazines they read, what blogs they visit, what events or top conferences they attend, who do they follow. Influencer marketing is becoming like the top in today's world. So influencer marketing, when it comes to influencer marketing, everybody will have a, you know, will have someone to follow. They inspired by somebody and they follow. And if you see a a business owner usually tends to read like business magazines, or tends to read a book that motivates him, or tends to constantly visit a blog, where you'll find more and more update and information. So these are the information you require, because when it comes to Facebook ad targeting, you can go ahead and use all these targeting options. So objection and role. So what are the possible objection when you try to sell the product? What are the possible objection that you will come across, when you as a consumer? So you need to have also have the list of like objection what your consumer is having. So the purchase decision, what do you mean by that? Okay, in some companies, the business owner might be too busy, so he'll ask the marketing guy to go ahead and evaluate the software. So the marketing guy will evaluate the software, but he is not the buyer. So he will then take it back to the business owner, and tell them, okay, so now I evaluated the software, seems to be okay. Now we are good to go. So you have to know like what is the role of the purchasing roles in the purchasing decision. That's very important. And you need to create content that would influence the decision maker and make them buy. Like take a simple case scenario, like kids below 18 don't have a credit card. They can't go and buy anything. So what they can so you need to create a product that influence their parents for their buying decision, at the same time influence the kid. You got the point, right? So that's how you need to create a customer avatar. If I ask me how many customer avatar do you need, as much as you can. You also need to have a negative avatar as well. In that case, you would be knowing like who are the ideal customer, who are the customer you don't want to work with. In that way, you can exclude them on the targeting and make it more laser targeted. Because if you focus and get a complete idea on this customer value journey and customer avatar, this is the initial step that every businesses fail. If someone asks me, dude, what do I need to do if I need to run an ad? As a business owner, it's not his responsibility to understand all these things. But as a marketer, if you go ahead and explain them, okay, sir, your customer is in the awareness stage. Now I can't go ahead and convert an awareness stage customer to a promote stage immediately, because he doesn't know anything about your product. But you can tell them, okay, in that case, what I can do is I can go ahead and go through all this process, and uh, and make them your promote customer. I can nurture your customer to make them a paying customer. But some people have some data points for you to go ahead and go to this stage, but still you need to make them aware that you are taking them through this customer value journey. Let's suppose the reason why I'm telling you is when I started with Facebook and Google. The Google is more of like an intent based, which is demand generation. I mean, sorry, demand fulfillment, which means like people go to Google, directly type what they want. Let's suppose I want an iPhone 6. I go directly to Google and type where to buy iPhone 6. That clearly shows an intent. Um, okay, why your sales files due to lack of understanding your product? Now, I don't get your question. Why your sales files? Okay, so yeah, like I said, like Facebook is more of a demand generation, and Google is more of a demand fulfillment. With people will go to Google with an intention to buy something or looking for information. So there you can target more laser focus with keywords, build an awesome landing page, and then take them through the value process very easily. Again, in Google, there is a different term called zero moment of truth, and here Facebook, we call it as customer value journey. But end of the day, this is the process that you need to master. You need to know where is your customer is. So based on that, now doing this will help you and save you a lot of money. I'll tell you why. It saved me a lot of money, by the way. So if I know, okay, a customer is aware of a product, the my client is already engaging with them. They have the email address. They have a client who has bought their product, a micro product, a micro commitment that's already happened. So now I know, okay, the first stage is done. Now I can go ahead and create a content and product um, based on the other stages, and I know, okay, this is a warm customer, so I know how to focus on a warm customer. And you know what kind of a tool you need to buy or you need to use for this stage, because as a digital marketer you need to know like more than 5,000 tools, and it keeps coming, it keeps getting more and more. So you will not be in a position to learn all the tools. Instead, if you know why and where your customer is on the value journey, so based on that you can create, you can buy or use the tools accordingly. So this eventually, if you don't know, let's suppose your customer is on advocate stage, so most probably you will be um, emailing them asking like, okay, I just need an email marketing software at this stage. I don't need much. I don't need a landing page software. So you got the point, right? Okay, so why sales ad fails? Yeah, it's like you're calling, you're meeting a girl and you're asking, can we name our children? So definitely that's not going to work, right? So that's why sales ad fails. But instead, you walk them through this process, unless and until you have already dated with her and ask her for like, okay, dinner or something, then get to know each other. The complete value journey is like more of a like a dating. You meet someone, talk to them, get to understand each other, then go for a date. Then you discuss with both the families and get to know about, okay, he's a good guy, let's get married, and promote is okay. Now this family is good, we can like engage together, no problem. So will this data help in better ads optimization? Yes, of course. Now, as I walked you through this process journey, now let's suppose you have enough data about your customer, so you don't need to go through the like from top to bottom from awareness stage. Some customer know about it already, so definitely you can optimize it. So when it comes to Facebook give multiple options like Facebook Pixel. I can go ahead and install it on your website, and then it will try to find out. You can create a custom audience in your ad group, and then once you see, you can set up a custom optimization, conversion optimization, and that will lead you to find let Facebook find customers who are similar to the one who has already bought your product. So this way, you are giving like, your Facebook has more than 50,000 data points on their customers, and they keep a good eyeball on your customers. So when somebody has enough data about your customers, so it's better to go ahead and tell them uh, tell them like, okay, this is what I've been trying to achieve. So help me find a customer who is relevant to that. So any tips on nurturing customer? Yes. So uh, nurturing customers, it depends on the type of content you create. So I usually good create emails that because I have the challenges and pain point. Like I said, this is very important. That's why I said customer avatar is very important, because I have the customers challenges and pain point. Now I know what is their customer pain point. I can go and create content, so when I hit their buttons, so definitely they're going to convert. So in this stage, so I know all this information about the customer, specifically the challenges and pain point. So hope it answers your question. Any tips on nurturing customer? Okay, that's email marketing. What all platform we need to use to nurture leads? You can use platforms like email. Email is like untouched market still now, and still people are using email marketing. So email is one good way to nurture your leads. Other way you can do is you can build an ecosystem community. Like you can bring them, you can create a Facebook group, bring them inside that, and you can educate. You can start posting videos. Video content works much better than audio content. So yeah, I preferably choose an email marketing or a video marketing. That both the things would definitely work. So that's my presentation. So if you guys have any question, you can ask me. Yeah, I was working as an internet for international clients. Uh, so how I got the project, that's what I want to share. So guys, if you want to get project internationally, start building your online presence. Personal branding is the key. Personal branding is the key. Again, I insist, personal branding is the key. I used to have a lot of websites on my company name. By the way, I own a small digital agency that's like completely remote. I'm planning to go like live. So when it comes to like personal brand is going to be the next future, because now after this COVID-19, I'm pretty much sure like most of the companies will try to go online. But if you are in the digital marketing space, this is a good opportunity for you. You can go ahead and build your personal brand around it, and go ahead and build a personal brand around you on your space, so that people will reach out to you. I've been getting emails, like bombarding emails with, okay, Mohammed, I want to do this, I want to do that. Can you help me out? I said, yeah, sure, why not? That's what I'm here for. So personal brand will have a big reach. If you're not good at digital marketing, first guys, don't focus on like uh, the all the wings in the digital marketing. That is not going to help you. Again, I'm telling you, you focus on one topic in digital marketing, and you become a master on that. Okay, email content drafting tips. Okay, so that's a different topic altogether, but I can answer that. Email content drafting is like, first of all, you again, like I said in the before, like I said before, B2B, whether it's B2B or B2C, end of the day, you're working with a human to human. Understand that. Again, I'm stressing on that. You're working with human to human. So what do I mean by that? When you're like asking, when you're like you're sending an email, you're not sending to a bot, you're sending to an your real person out there on the other side who is listening to what you're trying to tell. So make sure you keep it very user friendly. Let them understand, know that you understand their pain problem, and and that's how it works. So when it comes to email, all my emails go like very casually, very professional. If you want to keep it professional, I do it, but don't be over professional, over friendly. Keep it like, hey, what's your problem? What's your big challenge you face? You can ask them, maybe as an initial conversation. When it comes to engage, you can ask them like, what is your biggest challenge you face? Would you mind subscribing to our newsletter? Um, to gain an insight on the solution or the problem that you face. Okay, Vijay, I will share the mind map to Monica ma'am, and I think she will share it with you. What all tools are you using? You're using and doing customer avatar. First, I have a basic sheet. I don't use complex tools. Like I said, I'm a paid member of digitalmarketer.com. So eventually they filled me out with powered, geared me up with a lot of information. Uh, but I don't think I can share. This has some copyright issue, but this is the template I use. I can create one in Excel and I can share it with Monica ma'am. So you can grab that when you got time. So here again, you have the goals and values. You name your customer avatar, give it a gender, name, age, children, challenges, pain point, source, code, occupation. These are like optional, but pretty much it will be good if you gather as many information as possible. So this is one thing that you need to start with. But again, guys, when it comes to paid ads, you need to have a bigger eyeball because your job as a marketer is to lower the cost and get the maximum amount of profit to the business owner. That's when you're going to stick to a project and work long term. Can we conduct a Facebook session, Facebook ads? Facebook ads, this is the bare basic which you need to do it at first place. This itself will take a long time. And what tools are you using to do customer? That's the PDF I use. I don't use complicated tool. Maybe I'll use an Excel to go ahead and fill out all this information. I'll actually write a blog and I'll post it um, in the Facebook community. Any template for pitching to clients? I do video. I don't send a. Okay, yeah, I use a software called Posify. That's a super tool. People will be like asking me, how do you send such a beautiful proposal? I use a software called Proposify, and it has like a lot of proposal templates. You guys see my screen? Okay, so it has a lot of templates. You can integrate it. So there is an AdWord and PPC proposal template, audio visual proposal, branding proposal template, business consulting. So what I do, I go to a website because I want to find okay, dentist in Chennai. So I use an app called Loom. I also use an app called Camtasia. So I record myself and I say, hey, I send that video to the client. Hey XYZ, I see that dentist in Chennai has a good number of searches, and I see that your name is not on the first place of Google. So what I can do is I can go ahead and help you rank on the first page of Google with Google Ads. So I can bring your ad in 24 hours because with Google it is possible. If you pay, it's possible. Like I said, paid traffic is more of like a water hose. Whenever you want to turn it on, you can turn it on. When you don't want to turn it on, you can turn it off. So you see how the campaign works, and based on that, and I also pitched more products when it comes to here. I also see that this gentleman is ranking number one, and he has a website that you don't have a website. So I can website like this, and I will also create a website that creates. So this guy is more like using some kind of. I basically don't see call of action. Okay, here is the next call of action. But if we close that, done. The home page the call of action. This has all this garbage which I don't like. So I'll tell the same over the video and send that video file to the client. So this is the template format I use. I use a paid account. So see, you have whatever you want. Let's say, for example, if you want catering proposal, yeah, you can check out the event management. Every proposal, whatever you want to do, it's there. You just need to go ahead and edit, and you're good to go. So that's the proposal template I use. So you got any other questions? Oops, we have 44 minutes. That's cool. So guys, you have any other question, you can ask me here, or you can also connect with me in Facebook. And a new trending ad platform. I'm testing out TikTok ads since I'm more into like international branding. I don't know how it works with Indian market, TikTok with India. So I'm testing out. Quora is the best place for organic because I still get traffic from Quora. I created a like UTM code to track in analytics, and I still see like I'm getting search from Quora. It's a good. It's kind of like a social bookmarking backlink. So why avoid that? I still use that. Yeah, Quora is a best platform. But when it comes to Quora ads, no, I haven't given it a try. Maybe I should try. Yeah, Quora ads. I'm sorry, I didn't try. TikTok and Quora, I didn't try. A new trending platform, everything. See, what I'm trying to tell you is like the concept will remain the same. This is going to be the concept. Whatever platform comes in, the concept will not change. So you have to understand. If you understand this concept, then you know where and you create a customer avatar. Then you know where your customers are. In that case, you can go ahead and target on that platform. It doesn't. This stage is like complete bare bone of what you need to understand. So if you know this stage, then you know, okay, my customer are not in Facebook. They are in. They are more into. Uh, they are more into other platforms like Google, Facebook, YouTube, wherever your customers are. That case, you can go ahead and focus. So this is the basics of what you need to do in first place when you get a project. So you need to first understand, then you create the vehicle and the road where you want to. Yeah, Reddit, Quora, those are like forums. With forums, they can generate organic traffic, into my knowledge. So yeah, Reddit. I haven't tried the Reddit ads as well because it's a forum. I don't see any kind of that can be used on the engagement stage. So these forums, Quora, Reddit, and other forums, when it related to their niche, there are different forums. So based on that, you can go ahead and you can use those platform as a place to engage with your audience. So that's what my opinion is all about. But yeah, I'm yet to explore on that as well. So primary focus was on Facebook because my complete clients are from international. So that's how I acquired a client. So when it comes to acquiring a new client for your business, you go create a video and send it across to the client. That's like 99% of the people don't do. They send a bare bone proposal. So this is one way that you can stand out. And if you don't have a personal brand, this is something which you need to think. Personal brand is very important. Maybe in the upcoming future. Indian market and US market digital marketing is completely different. They're more into consumable, consuming more and more data before they take a purchase decision, and eventually the customer will take like 7 visits to buy. And Indian market is still in the nurturing stage, so it's still on the subscribe stage, engage and subscribe stage, where okay, digital marketing was super easy. I don't think people will stick to that. It is tough. You need to like understand that. And in US market, they are good at learning, but they're very bad at setting things up. And we Indian market are good at setting things up, understanding things much better. So that's why we are still on the market. If you may ask me, still I see I've set up a Facebook ad campaign. Just set up a Facebook ad campaign for a client like 6 times, again and again doing the same. Still is not doing how is not learning how to set up a market on its own. That's good. That's a good deal for me, right? I can still be on the business for a long time. But when it comes to US market, you have a wide opportunity. So all you need to do is upskill your skills in digital marketing, whatever the niche you want to get into, and then go ahead and target the market, which market you want to target. So India, in my stage, which all industry you have handled so far? Specifically, I'm into real estate in US, and what others? Staffing, recruiting companies, and a few e-commerce. E-commerce, I had a different plan altogether. E-commerce is more into conversion, so definitely they might have some data points. So they are like create one-page website in ClickFunnels and direct traffic to that page, and uh, the traffic to the page, and then make the conversion. How much study of industry is needed for digital marketer? Guys, I would say most people fail here in today's marketing industries. They're trying to learn the tools. They're trying, okay, they got into Google. They're trying to learn Google AdWords tools, but that is not correct. You need to understand the concept, how this all works. So if you know the concepts, I think you can start. And don't worry, just try to do some free work for somebody. Digital marketing is all about doing something practically, which means like you can't go ahead and if you like learn something and you don't put that in practice, then that is not correct. That is not correct, right? So funnel tools, I use a tool called Geru. I build my own funnels. Unfortunately, that's on my other computer, so this is my laptop. I don't have it. I can show it right now. The funnel tools, if you know like what kind of a funnel you're going to build, how you're going to take this complete journey, then you know how to build a funnel. But there are a couple of tools I also use. I use ClickFunnels. That's like easy drag and drop. And if the candidate, I mean, if the client wants like bare basic tools, I can go ahead and build them on their own website using WordPress and Elementor. Simple. But to my knowledge, there's a better conversion with Unbounce. Unbounce seems to be the best tool for landing page. Videos on landing page. Videos have a higher conversion, no doubt about it, because people don't have enough time to sit and read your content. Rather, they watch. Video have a higher click-through rate. So landing page tools, Unbounce is something which I use. Unbounce, ClickFunnels, and my own WordPress landing page I create on my own. But there are more other tools that you can explore. It depends on the goal again, goal and objective, what you want to achieve. If you want to keep your landing, if you want to keep your conversion all the way separate, then you can use an external tool. But if you can manage within your website, then you're good to go, and you know, and create on your own. But Unbounce, I was using Unbounce for quite a long time, and it seems pretty decent. Okay, digital sales. Digital sales, can you be a bit more elaborate? I mean, you mean info products? Is that what you mean? Yeah, I assume it's info products. The info products is the only thing that is very easy to create. And digital sales, I don't get that question. Like, what do you mean by digital sales? Digital products or info products? Can you be a bit more elaborate on that? Oh, digital sales versus traditional sales. Digital sales is no way different from the traditional marketing. The only thing is with digital, a lot of you can collect as many data points, and scale your ad at a minimal cost. When it comes to traditional marketing, I don't think there you can as many data points unless and until you have a sufficient database. As a startup, digital marketing is a good preference, but as a big enterprises, you will definitely have as many data of your customer. So again, still, in this situation like COVID thing, every business like almost closed. So it's better, the business will be moving towards digital. Already I see a lot of clients reaching out to me, the Indian market clients reaching out to me, say, okay, hey, how do I take my business online? So yeah, digital sales versus traditional sales are no way different. It's all about marketing and how you take your market forward. Digital sales pitch has definitely changed over this. The are becoming very smart, and they're taking their prospect to the customer value journey very seamlessly and subtly, like I said. So this is something you need to learn. So you need to learn like how you can take your um, you can take your customer through the value journey. Google Trends for customer avatar. See, I told you it's we are researchers, so we need to find out as many data points of your customer. So which means like Google Trends might be one of them, but Google Trends, do you think Google will give you like 100% accurate information? I don't think so. So that's where they have the paid service for. So Google Trends, you can take that as a one of your like data points, but you cannot rely completely on that. So you can do a social listening. What I do sometimes is I go log into the Facebook group page, and in the search box I'll usually type like I need help with. In that case, it will come up like a list of questions what people are asking. So in that case, I'll come to know like okay, these are the pain points that they have. These are the challenges they face. Voice search data for customer avatar. Voice search data is also, I don't think that has become more popular in recent days. Still, people are in the old traditional way of searching via internet. Yeah, but voice search, Google says it's the next big thing, and they launched several campaigns on that. But I don't see any customer who walked into me and say, "Hey, can you do a voice search, voice search?" Campaign or something like that. But voice search, like I said, there are more than like 50,000 data points you need to collect. Google and Facebook has it. So your responsibility, you can go ahead and you can take that as each whichever that comes in your mind. So it's not like you have to be like one, you have to stick to like one data point. You can collect as many data points as you, the more you have the better. So you can laser target when it comes to ads, Facebook ads. You can laser target and go ahead and and save a lot of your marketing budget. What about HubSpot bias persona? Bias persona is same. Ideal customer, bio persona, your bio persona, customer avatar, everything is the same. Same term and different terminology and different styles. That's it. But this is like the basic. This is what you know. Minimum. This is the thing you need to know. When you dig into challenges and pain points, it will give you like 100 questions and 100 challenges. Every of your customer has it. So the goal of the campaign should be like moving your customer from an X stage to a desired state. What would be the future of digital marketing? How we should be prepared? Digital marketing is the future, so there is no doubt about it. So when I started, I can easily rank a website. I don't really need to go to paid advertising when I first started in 2014. But now things have completely changed. There are a lot of people who are getting involved in digital marketing, and I think this is like an evolving market. There are more than like billions of industries around the world, and when it comes to digital marketers, there are very limited. So it's good that you get into digital marketing. Congratulations. But what you need to do is if you're like if you're mastering everything, then you're mastering nothing. You mastered one thing, and you will eventually come to know what are the other things you need to know if you want to master that particular. So when it comes to Facebook, let's say for example, I need to know how to create a landing page, so I need to know a little bit of website knowledge. I don't want to dig down, okay, how to create a plugin. No, that's not required. So what you can do is you can learn a little bit of knowledge and plugin. If you can't do, outsource the job. And if you want to like create content, you can create a content, no problem. But if you can't create a content, no problem. You can find a content writer or somebody to create your content, create a sales page. So eventually, your focus should be only on one thing. If you are a content writer, then you know um, how to how to run how to create which are the tools and requirements you need for that particular topic you're getting into. What all blogs you read to stay updated? I stay related to what my niche is. I'm into Facebook ad, so I follow a lot of Facebook gurus. I'm into a lot of Facebook groups. So lead guru is one guy, Ben Heath from UK. He is a good at Facebook ads. Another guy is another guy is his name is like a Spanish name, so I can't remember his name. But he is having a Facebook ads mastermind. I'm on the group. I'm on Digital Market Engage. It's a group from Digital Marketer. It's a paid group, but I'm a member of it, and I usually read business from that group. How will you validate and optimize a Facebook ad campaign? This is related to Facebook, but still I can give you answer for this. So every Facebook ad campaign, you have a certain metrics. And what do I mean by metrics? Like you started the campaign with an objective and a goal in mind, and so you should be knowing like what is the outcome that you're looking for from that campaign. If that campaign is not performing, if not giving that outcome, then you know the Facebook campaign is not working. So there is some metrics that you need to follow. There is some metrics that you can go ahead and try to understand. Let's suppose I need maximum clicks, then that is a goal. So are you getting maximum clicks? No, then that point, that Facebook, that ad campaign is not working. So the metrics clearly shows that okay, I paid this much, I got this many clicks. When I divide this one, this is the conversion. So that's not what I'm looking for. So you can optimize the campaign based on that. So creative, it might be several different reasons why that campaign is not working. It might be because of the ad creative, or maybe the campaign and the landing page speak a different language. So you have to be very careful on creating. You need to have, you need to make sure that all these things in one place. The marketing automation. Where should we use marketing option? Not in funnel. Okay, places where you don't need much of like your presence. You can you can go ahead and automate that. Let's say, for example, definitely the first is you definitely need to be there. So you can, let's say for this campaign, you can't email every single of them, but you can, you need someone to engage. So let's suppose subscribe to email. So this can be an automated email that's sent to them, and then the excite stage maybe like 3 to 4 emails where you can just send it across and make sure that they got additional value. You can buy a small cup. These are the things, stages: upsell, downsell, until testimonial. You can, yeah, even the promote stage. I think next to the convert stage, you can automate everything via email. I use email marketing. You can use a different tool. You can go live like this, or you can um, go reach out to them like one to one via email marketing. Email marketing is the best tool, in my opinion. How to join all the groups? Could you provide those links? That is a good. I'm in a group where it is paid, so I take this more serious. So I do. I, okay. So you can search for public groups. No need to like, okay, I need to be on this group. Nothing like that. You could join any public group. Try to jump in and help out with whatever the knowledge you gained, and you will eventually learn. That's how I started. So I learned. Then I went. I took one step further, and I did a certification. That's when my complete online journey started. You taught on Zapier, chatbot, etc. Yeah, Zapier is an automation tool. It's one of the automation tool, and it is the best. I've been using Zapier for quite a long time. So when somebody subscribe, this is where you can do the automate process, right? So when somebody subscribe, I want to send them an automated tool. So I create a Zap saying that okay, whenever somebody as a new subscriber, so you can go ahead and send an email. Lead generation with chatbots. Okay, chatbot is a different, completely module I can discuss here. That will take a hell of a lot of time. And chatbot is the next thing next to email, I think, because nowadays I see the email open rates have become low. So what happens is people messenger is like a notification, like an SMS that pops up on their mobile saying that, hey, an offer I have, would you like to pick up? So it has a faster reach. So as a human being, we read an SMS whether we like it or not in the next 3 minutes after we see it. So chatbots, and it's a good way to generate leads. In fact, I had a chatbot. After Praveen's class, I went ahead and created one chatbot. I still need to add a few more details on that. So that was a good session that you scheduled, Manisha. Thanks for it, by the way. Yeah, I see the questions are not coming in anymore. So I think we can end this live session. Once again, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I see a great response here. I hope to see more sessions and conduct more session on this in detail. Once again, thank you so much, Manisha. Anything else you want to discuss, or should we sign out? Are we good to sign out? Okay, I don't see any more questions coming in. So once again, thank you so much, guys, and stay safe and have a nice day. Bye.